Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be giving a review on the Aloha quilt by Jennifer Chiaverini. I literally just finished this, so this is my just kind of right off the bat reaction to it. Usually I would kind of let my thoughts sit for like a day or two and then I would give my review, but because I got this book from the library, I'm going to return it tomorrow and I was just excited and wanted to give you guys my thoughts. Loved it so much. I enjoyed every chapter. I didn't want to rush through it. I didn't want it to end. It was really so good. So in this series, my favorite book is The Cross Country Quilters, and this book comes really, really close to that. This might be my second favorite book in the series, and I've read about 16 books so far. This being the 16th one. It was just so good. Like, I was having visceral reactions as I was reading it, and it's not this like super crazy. I mean, there are like some things that happen in it, but it's not a super crazy plot. I don't think any of her books are ever really super crazy, but they're so true to life, and her character development, the way that she writes her characters, I love it so much because I find myself loving the character, being annoyed by the character because they are so much like real people. And one thing that she does really well too is she kind of leaves things up in the air, like how it would be in real life. There was a part in this book where she kind of like she didn't go off on someone, and Bonnie, who's the main character, that's what I'm talking about. But let's just say like she got into this really heated argument with a friend, and it's like I wanted her to just like quickly apologize because I didn't like the tension and all of that. But her inward thoughts about it, how conflicted she felt, how she kind of knew that she needed to apologize, but at the same time she was really angry about what this person did. And it's like on the outside looking in, you could clearly see like that it's either being blown out of proportion or, you know, in this case, it's like, why are you so angry when this person didn't do anything to you? This would all make sense if you read the book, by the way. Please read it. I really want more people to read the series just so that I can, like, I don't know, just have more of a discussion about it. But anyway, it was something like that. And it was like she was really wrestling with it. And that's how we are in real life. So I'll give you the plot of it. Basically, we have this character, her name's Bonnie. So she is going through a divorce, like the divorce is about to be finalized, and she's part of this whole business. It's called like the Elm Creek Quilt Camp. She's part of this whole business. It's in Pennsylvania, but I think this is around, I want to say this is like around Thanksgiving time, I think. Anyway, she goes to Hawaii because she has another friend named Claire who is trying to open up her own quilt camp. And so she wanted Bonnie's like help and expertise and all of that. So she's now in Hawaii. She's going to be there for a couple months to help her start this like soft launch. While she's in Hawaii, she's going through some difficulties with the divorce because her husband's being difficult about it. Um, like he basically wants money from her, and he's just acting like really crazy. Um, so she's going through that, and then there's a love interest. I talked about this in my last video. The way that I feel about the two of them is like I said, it's a little conflicting, right? Because I knew that the relationship was going to happen. Like I knew it right away because it was a very predictable plot, but the relationship dynamic was very good quality, I would say, just like very interesting. But yeah, obviously it's like, okay, well, even though she is going through this divorce, like she is still married. Personally, my view on that is that you shouldn't be pursuing any type of relationship while you're still married, and they talk about that very openly in the book, which is something that I appreciate. They don't gloss over that, you know. But it's one of those situations where there's not these like perfect circumstances, you know. She obviously didn't go to Hawaii looking for someone, but these things unfolded. Anyway, he is like kind of teaching her about Hawaiian history, so she's learning about that. He's helping her find like different sites for the quilters for when they have their free time to show them like a different part of Hawaii. There's that going on, and then there's like a really big plot regarding, because she's part owner of Elm Creek Quilts Camp. I don't really want to like give stuff away, so I'm not sure how to word it, but there's definitely like some conflict there. Yeah, I'm not really that great at reviewing books, but I just loved it. It was very, very true to life. it was basically like she goes to Hawaii, she's doing these things, and it's like one thing after another is happening to her, and by the end of the book, you know that feeling when you've just been through so many trials and difficulties and you finally come out of it and it feels as if everything else was like a dream before that. It's kind of like that. At the end, the author, she wraps things up pretty neatly, and there's this like really nice happy ending, which I love, because even though I do like when fiction is realistic, I'm not reading a fiction book like completely for realism. You know, it's like I already live in the real world, so I have an idea of how things work, right? But yeah, I really liked the ending. Oh, the second to last chapter was crazy. Like it was crazy because it's one of those plots that you would predict, but because they took so long to get there, I didn't think that that was going to happen. So I'm reading the second to last chapter, and I'm thinking like, okay, everything's wrapped up. We're about to get a nice clean ending. And then the end of that chapter just like punched me in the face. Not literally, but it like really shocked me. I was like, oh my gosh, I kept saying that to myself. I really, really, really wanted to finish the whole thing before work because I needed to know what was going to happen, but then I didn't want to rush through it either. You know, like I want to enjoy the books that I'm reading. So, anyway, there's all that to look forward to, but I don't know how else to explain that these books are just, they're just about life and womanhood and conflicts, challenges, hardships, love, like all of those general things that we think about in our everyday life. I did put some little sticky notes because I wanted to remember Jennifer Chiaverini's writing. I don't think is like, it's not this fancy, flowery language, but I did like how she tied in like the art of quilting into being like symbolic of life. I liked that. And then I don't even remember what I actually don't remember why I highlighted one of these things, so let me see. I think that one that I highlighted is for myself because I don't think it will make much sense unless you read the other books. But I did highlight literally on like almost the last page. No, I think it is the last page. Conclusions, when I write stuff like for school or whatever, conclusions are never my strong point. So I really liked her kind of like conclusion at the end. It just wrapped everything up so nicely, and I'm so glad that this book was in the library because it was such a fun read. But it says, hold on. Okay. It says, she would no longer define herself by her losses, for she had discovered that when inspired by the Aloha spirit, she could create her own unique pattern for life, seamless, beautiful, and enriching, full of love to give and to receive. Aloha, she told her friends, both near and far, knowing they would understand it in the warmest and most loving of its definitions. To me, that ending was just beautiful. Like when she talks about how she could create her own unique pattern for life. That's like a quilting reference, you know, because when you quilt, you buy these different patterns and stuff and you put it together. Quilting is like, it's art at the end of the day. It's art and it's a cool way to preserve history. Do I know how to quilt? No, but I am like inspired by it whenever I read these books. So anyway, wonderful book. Highly recommend. I do not think that you need to read the other books to read this one. It would add a little bit more depth. You would probably care about the characters a little bit more, but all around, I think it's a good story. If you haven't guessed already, my rating was definitely 5 stars. And usually, like I said, I would wait a day because you might go back and think about certain things that you didn't like. And there were like little things that I skipped over just because that's how I am. But I would still rate this 5 stars. The way that it made me feel is probably the closest to how I felt when I read The Cross Country Quilters, like the closest out of all the other books. So this has become my second favorite book in her series. I really loved it. I look forward to reading her other books. And yeah, that's my review. I'm going to hopefully read, well, I'm planning to because again, I got these from the library. My next read is nonfiction called The Ghost in My Brain. How concussion stole my life and how the new science of brain plasticity helped me get it back. So yeah, that will be my next read. It doesn't seem very long and it doesn't seem like a hard read. It is, yeah, 297 pages, not bad at all. I know what you guys are reading as well, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.